All right, so moving on, number 69, 0.2. All right, you can see the link for the textbook that I'm using. So 0.2, question 69 all the way to the end. Let's go for it, number 69. 1 over 5 plus 3 over 4. So we're adding, so we need the same denominator. So if we multiply this by 4 and we multiply this by 5, we're going to get, remember we have to multiply the top and the bottom by the same number for the fraction to remain constant. Okie dokie, so that is 1 times 4 equals 4, 4 times 5 equals 20, plus 3 times 5 equals 15, plus 4 times 5 equals 20. So basically I did this, did this, did this, did this. Now equals, and anytime you're adding or subtracting, you carry over the denominator and you add the numerators. Here in this case it's an addition sign, two positive numbers, so it's 19 over 20. Number 70 now. 6 over 5 minus 8 over 5. Oops, that's a minus. Yeah, let's just erase that. Go back to the marker. Boom. So anytime you add or subtract, if you have the same denominator, it carries over, and you're left by doing 6 minus 8, or 6 minus plus 8, or 6 plus minus 8. So anytime you have a subtraction sign, you take the sign of the biggest, which is a minus 8, and then you subtract the 2, and that becomes your answer. 71 minus 5 over 7 minus 15 over 8. That's a killer, this one. This is not going to be an easy problem. All right, so we need to find a common denominator, and that would be 56. So anytime you have a problem finding a common denominator and you don't feel like looking for the least common denominator, you just multiply the bottom fractions, right? 7 times 8, so we're going to put it by 8 here, and 8 times 7. And we're going to get the same result. 8, 7, so for this problem, we're going to have minus 40 over 56 minus 17, 7 times 15. I do not know what that is by heart. It's 105. Minus 56, 8 times 7, 56. So let's make this all nice again. Minus 40 over 56 minus 105 over 56. Now, to change this into a positive, we're going to turn this into a negative. So it becomes minus 40 over 56 plus minus 105 over 56. See how I turned it into an addition problem? There's your 56. We carry that over. So when we have the same sign, we just add and then the sign goes at the end. So 40 plus 105 equals 145. And can you reduce this? I have no idea. I really have no clue. Anyways, check the answers. I'm sure you can, maybe, perhaps. So I just don't feel like doing it. 72 now. 72. Minus 1 over 3 plus 8 over 5. That's a negative. Is that right? Am I getting that right? Okay, so that's pretty good. So this will multiply by 5, and this will multiply by 3. 5, 3. 5 times negative 1, negative 5. 5 times 3, 15. 5 times 3, 15. Here's a plus sign. Negative 3 times 3, sorry, negative 3 minus 24 equals, carry over the denominator, negative 5 plus negative 24. When the signs are the same, put it here, and then you just add these two. 5 plus 24 equals 29. And that is reduced. 73 now. 6 minus 8 over 7. So really we need to get a 7 here as denominator. So let's just look at what we're doing. 1 times 7 equals 7. 6 times 7 equals 42 minus 8 over 7. Denominator goes here, and here it's a very simple problem of doing 42 minus 8, which is 34. All right. Minus 6 plus minus 5 over 3. Okie dokie. So this, we need to put this number into a fraction form, over 3. So here it's really over 1 times 3 times 3. So minus, okay, so 3 times minus 6 equals minus 18. 3 times 1 equals 3 plus negative 5 over 3. So we're adding the same signs. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to carry over the denominator, because when we add or subtract, we can't carry over the denominator. So minus 18 plus minus 5. Now anytime you have a plus sign and the signs are the same, you just add them up. So here the result will be negative since both are negative. Remember, that's not like multiplying where you have two negatives equals a positive. You remember? So if you have negative any number times negative any number equals a positive number. When you're adding and subtracting, when you're adding or subtracting, it's not that. So we have 23 over, so my 18, negative 18 plus negative 5 equals negative 23. That is your answer. Now we go to 75. 3 over 2 minus 15 over 8. Well, we're going to have to multiply this by 4, which will give us 12 over 8. You see I'm going a little bit faster now? If it goes too fast, just watch it over and pause it every step. And all right, so same thing as before. We're carrying over the denominator. Always has to be the same denominator, and then it becomes 12 minus 15. 12 minus 15, well, you can think of it as 12 minus positive 15, right? Or you could say 12 plus negative 15. And when we're adding numbers like this, the sign, the highest sign is going to be your answer. So 15 is bigger than 12, so it's going to be a negative the answer. And then you subtract the two. So you do 15 minus 12 equals 3, negative 3 over 8. Problem 76 now. 76, it's minus 1 minus 1 over 3. Okie dokie. So minus 1, how could we make that over 3? It's really negative 1 over 1. So it's going to be negative 3 over 3, right? We multiply each side by 3. Minus 1 over 3. Now, when you're subtracting like this, anytime you have a negative here and a negative here, you could really add it. So negative 3 over 3 plus 1 over 3 equals over 3. We have here the sign of the biggest between minus 3 and 1. Minus 3 is the bigger number, so it's a minus. And then we just subtract. So we're going to do 3 minus 1 equals 2. We put that here, negative 2 over 3. Hope I'm giving you guys the right answers. Does that look right? Minus 1. Yeah, that looks right. 77. Negative 15 over 8 plus 5 over 3. Okie dokie. So we've got to make these agree. So I think we can multiply 8 by 3 and this here by 8. Remember, you have to multiply the top and the bottom for the fraction to remain the same value. So 3 times negative 15 equals negative 45. 3 times 8 equals 24. That is awesome. 5 times 8 equals 40. 8 times 3 equals 24. Oh, we now have the same denominator. We can carry that here. So negative 45 plus 40. Well, what's the biggest number? Negative 45. So we put a negative here, and we do 45 minus 40 equals 5. We put that up here, 5, and that's your answer. 78. Now the problems are getting just harder and harder, it seems. 3 over 2 plus 9 over 7. So this we're going to multiply by 7. This we're going to multiply by 2. All right, equals. Now, 7 times 3 equals 21. 7 times 2 equals 14 plus 9 times 2 equals 18. 7 times 2 equals 14. We now have a common denominator, which is freaking awesome. And then 21 plus 18 equals 39. You can divide this. Can you reduce it? No, you can't. I don't know why professors insist that you reduce, but anyways, this is the way they are, and that is life. Okie dokie. Now we have the familiar problem, two things. We've got to turn this into a fraction. Minus 1 is really minus 1 over 1. Any whole number is over 1, actually. And then you have two minuses here, which we can turn to a positive. So it will be minus, here we have to multiply by 6, right, if we want the same denominator. So it's going to be minus 6 over 6, right, we did this, plus 1 over 6, equals, carry over the 6. Now we have a minus, we're adding a minus and a negative and a positive. So it's the highest one whose signs carried forward. So minus 6 is definitely a bigger number than, bigger in the sense of away from 0 than 1. So it's going to be a negative. So we turn 6 minus 1 equals 5, minus 5 over 6. Boom, that's done. Number 80, number 80. All right, negative 1 over 2 minus 3 over 5, minus 3 over 5. We have to add a negative there. What do we do when we see two negatives? Turn this into a positive. And we have to make these denominators work. So this side is being multiplied top and bottom by 5. This side is being multiplied top and bottom by 2. So negative 1 times 5 equals negative 5. Negative 5 times 2 equals 10 plus 3 times 2 equals, remember it's no longer negative, equals 6. 2 times 5 equals 10 equals. Now we have the same denominator that carries forward. That's a nice big fat 10. We take the sign of the higher number, which is 6 in this case. So this is going to be positive. 6 minus 5 equals 1. Boom, we put it here. 1 over 10, that is the answer. Let's make it even nicer writing. 1 over 10. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. 81. We're going to get through it. 5 over 3 minus 1 over 3, boom. So this has the same denominator, so we're saving a step here. We have two negative numbers, let's make it positive. 5 over 3 plus 1 over 3 equals, carry over the denominator, right, when you're adding and subtracting. 5 plus 1 equals 6. We can reduce this by dividing the top and the bottom by 3. 2 over 1. 6 over 3 means the same thing as 2 over 1 means the same thing as 2. Gooden. Last problem, 82. 9, 7, usually the hardest problem is always for last, and yes, it looks very hard. Okay, so this is 9 over 7 minus negative 5 over 3. Two negatives, what do you do right away? You make it positive. So let's rewrite this step, 9 over 7 plus 5 over 3. Now we have two different denominators. A quickie trick to make everything easy for the denominator. It's not necessarily the lowest common denominator, but it is a common denominator, is you multiply by the other denominator. See how I did here? 7 times 3, that's what I did here. And 3 times 7, this is what I did here. And of course, what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top, or else it's not going to be the same fraction. Times 7. Okay, let's do this. So 27 over 21 plus 35 over 21. Carry over the denominator. 27 plus 35, my brain doesn't work that well, so it's going to be like this, 62. Can we reduce this? 3, 7. No, we can't. That's the answer. Boom. So that's the end for this chapter. I think I did enough problems. Should have a pretty good idea of fractions. Remember, look at this video, and I would do it is look at it once, and then do it another time, except stop before I give the solution to see if you got the right answer, and then just do it over again without seeing all the solutions. And once you've done it 3 times, well, let me tell you, you're going to know fractions. All right.